זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Chaim, please be seated. A nice Cabernet, yes. You know, you'd say, thank God for this, to thank that. Thank God for no Manischewitz. Appreciate it. Jonah and the choir will lead us first with Lincoln's Nagun, a wordless tune. And then we will welcome the Shabbat bride, a concept of the mystics of Safed in Israel with Lecha Dodi, come, my beloved, Lecha Dodi.
Okay, and I think I'd like to explain why it's called Lincoln's Nagun, right? Are you wondering? The choir is excited to teach you a new Lecha Dodi, but why does it come under Lincoln's Nagun? Well, the composer, Joey Weisenberg, had an experience of hearing that when Lincoln went to review the troops, the men would line up all down the road for miles waiting for him. And when he'd come, they'd all stand at attention on the right. They made a space for him to come down on his horse. And they were on the right, on the left, and he acknowledged them while they were seeing him. Well, Joey took this a little step further into the Jewish life and thought, wouldn't it be nice to merge this feeling of welcoming the Shabbat bride the same way? People on the left and making room on the right and having the Shabbat bride come. So that was what his intent was. And the music is absolutely beautiful. He melded a little bit of Jewish sound, little melodic, Jewish melodic sound, with the feeling of Americana. So you'll have a little bit of martial-y, military kind of sound with it. But it's so beautiful, and you can even go on Google and hear it.
La 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 la.
Throughout the Middle Ages, life could be very dangerous for a Jew that decided to go to shul or a synagogue on a Friday night to worship. Our next musical piece, Peace to All of Us, Shalom Aleichem, tells us that there were actually angels that would accompany the Jew on his way to this. Again, it was men. So on his way to the synagogue to daven or to worship. And here we are with Joan and the choir. Shalom Aleichem. Peace to all of us.
You know this, you can sing along.
In the spirit of Shalom Aleichem, peace to all of us, please greet your neighbors, all the Jews and the non-Jews in the pews, and give them a hearty welcome. Good Shabbos. And we continue and we will continue. At some point, we will continue. I can promise you that. I did. I take full responsibility, but you know what? It's Rachel's fault. Because she reminded me of what was done years ago, and certain synagogues did this kind of thing. And when she brought it from Lancaster, I thought it was like, oh my God, yes, we need to do this. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we continue by marking the end of our introductory prayers with the Hatsikati in the English. Read with me, please. Exalted and hallowed be God's great name in the world which God created according to plan. May God's majesty be revealed in the days of our lifetime and the life of all Israel, speedily, imminently, to which we say, Amen. Blessed be God's great name to all eternity. Blessed, praised, honored, exalted, extolled, glorified, adored, and lauded be the name of the Holy Blessed One, beyond all earthly words and songs of blessing, praise and comfort, to which we say, Amen. Please rise if you are able, for blessed are you, the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai Yivorach, Baruch Adonai, Haolam Va'ed. Please be seated. It's still the wrong one, but what can I do? We continue on page 48 with the prayer for the Maker of Evening. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Jonah and the choir will lead us in Love Forever, Ahavat Olam. Our next prayer is the watchword of our faith, as they called it in Reformed Judaism, the Shema. And the Shema means hear or listen, and commonly, relax, John. Okay, well, it's all right. I'll give you a cue. And it means hear, listen up. The idea is that it can be a plea, as we say Shema Kolenu on the high holy days when we are pleading with God to hear our voice. Or, in this case, it's Shema Yisrael. Hey, Israel, listen up. I'm God speaking. And traditionally, and today, traditional Jews, those in the conservative Orthodox traditions, do not rise for the Shema. Rising for the Shema was actually an innovation of Reformed Judaism. So tonight, you have a choice. You can rise if you're enjoying the Reformed tradition, or you can sit and join the traditional Jews. So there we are. The Shema. Let's rise. Or not. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai If you rose, sit. If you're sitting, great. And we continue with the V'ahavta, you will love, in the English. And there it is. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, Adonai Elohechem Emes. Our next musical prayer is, Who is like you among the gods, Adonai? Joan and the choir will lead us in Mi Chamocha.
Okay, you have a part to play. Right? The middle part, can you see up there where it says No Ra Tehilot? All right, we know this piece, but people sit back and they don't do anything. So I want you to sing. Okay, so we'll start with where it says No Ra, and then there's an answer, Tehilot, right? And then the other group says, Oh, say, right? Okay, so let's try that with the choir, okay? By the way, no ra is held. So if you do the no ra part, you have to hold. And if you do oh, say, you have to hold up there. The other parts come in underneath you.
So how are you dividing the congregation? This is a rabbinical issue here.
Yes, it is. Well, I have done this many ways. I've had the men sing the No Ra and the ladies sing the Tehilot, and then we've done it the opposite way. So we'll practice it, and you can decide what you want to do. All right, so the choir, ladies, or the choir top part, here we go. Ready, and no. All right, I said whatever part. Here we go. I don't know who's singing. I've done it so many different ways. Here we go. Ready, and no ra tehilot, oh say no ra tehilot, oh say. You are instant singers. You all need to come right over here, all right? Okay, we'll do the whole thing. Here we go. Don't forget it. Mi chamocha first. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha l'Adonai kodesh. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha l'Adonai kodesh. Get your last lick.
Reform, a parent organization, Union for Reform Judaism, issued a book with a CD, and it was entitled Worship with Joy. And that's exactly what we are doing here tonight. We are worshiping with joy. Our next musical prayer, Hashkivenu, it literally means let us lie down. Okay, that's a funny name for a prayer. You don't expect that. But what it is that back in the day, people thought that sleep was a form of death. And that hopefully God would watch over, God and the angels would watch over us at night and then revive us back to life the next morning. And Joan and the choir will lead us in Hashkivenu. Please rise for the tefillah, the prayer, if you are able. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, my mouth may declare your praise. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our fathers and mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Sovereign deliverer, helper, and shield, blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You sustain life through love, giving life to all through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Our next musical worship piece is The Children of Israel Will Keep or Guard the Shabbat. Joan and the choir leads us in Vishamru.
Sorry. They're getting their aerobic act.
have a reading on the screen. Let's do this together. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing for you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We pause now for a silent prayer and meditation. The traditional text is on the screen, and you may feel free to substitute it with any prayer, any tefillah belev, a prayer of the heart of your choosing. Jonah and the choir will lead us in Maker of Peace, Oseh Shalom.
We're going to dedicate this piece to someone who is a local musician, cantorial soloist, composer, teacher, and just proponent of Judaism wherever he walked. His name is Kevin Fry, and Kevin was our cantorial soloist in Brandon for probably 10 years, but he did more than that. He just infused the whole congregation, kind of like we are doing tonight, singing all together and having almost a spiritual feeling in that temple. So we'd like to sing this in his honor. I haven't sung it since he passed away. And in fact, he was very young, and he insisted on singing the High Holy Days on a stool that last time. So thank you very much. Oseh Shalom. This past Monday was International Holocaust Day. It was the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz.
These are excerpts from a message called From Sorrow to Song by Rabbi Joshua Hammerman. The 20th century Jewish theologian Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "There are three ways in which we respond to sorrow. On the first level, we cry. On the second level, we are silent. On the highest level, we take that sorrow and turn it into song." These responses to tragedy mirror how Jews have responded to the Holocaust over the past 8 decades, from overwhelming grief to numbed silence. Today, as we commemorate the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, the time has come to turn the sorrow into a song, in a sense, to embrace Auschwitz. Let me be clear. There was nothing good about the Holocaust. What happened during the period of Nazi hegemony over Europe was the nadir, the bottom, of human history. No other event is remotely comparable. It is difficult to conceive of an atrocity so maliciously designed and so meticulously carried out on so vast a scale. I've spent the better part of my career as a rabbi and writer trying to reframe Judaism in positive terms. For me, that means steering the conversation away from the Holocaust, lest my own faith wither on the vine. This historic black hole poses questions that are unanswerable, eclipsing centuries of Jewish achievement, nurturing neurosis. It gave us an excuse to hate, and it gave our children an excuse to opt out of being Jewish altogether. Who would want to be part of such a hopeless, hapless people? But recently I've discovered that the opposite is true. Judaism is being interpreted anew through the prism of this event. We are hearing the first stirrings of a song. Throughout Jewish history, it has become axiomatic that approximately 7 to 8 decades after an enormous disaster, new creative expressions of faith have surfaced. Just as Jews traditionally rise from mourning a loved one on the 8th day, so do we rise collectively from trauma as we reach the 8th decade. That's the approximate span of time that passed after the first temple was destroyed in 586 BCE, when King Cyrus of Persia restored hope to the Jewish people, who had already begun adapting their religion to the new realities of residing in exile by the rivers of Babylon. The Second Temple's construction was completed in 515. 8 decades after the massacres of the First Crusade in 1096, dramatic changes began to revolutionize Jewish philosophy and law. Maimonides completed his commentary on the Mishnah in 1168, and his great law code, the Mishnah Torah, in 1180. Approximately 80 years after the expulsion from Spain in 1492, which displaced 200,000 Jews and resulted in tens of thousands of deaths, Jewish life was replanted in what is now Israel, in Safed, and it came to full flower with the works of the Kabbalists and the publication of the great law code, the Shulchan Aruch, in 1565. The year 1648 was a dark one for Eastern European Jewry, as a Cossack revolt killed upwards of 100,000 Jews. Almost exactly 70 years later, Israel ben Eliezer, known as the Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name, introduced Hasidism to Polish Jews. In early Hasidic literature, the Baal Shem Tov's followers saw a direct historical link from the ordeals of 1648 to their teacher's ministry. They asserted that this charismatic leader awakened the people Israel from their long coma and brought them renewed joy in the nearness of God. Just as an aside, the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov is that if you're out in the field, you can pray to God just as well as anywhere else. And going back to my talking about worship with joy, that's what the Hasidim do. They literally worship with great joy. Now, 80 years past the liberation of Auschwitz, we have a new opportunity. What needs to happen? First, Jews need to embrace the obligation to be surrogate witnesses as the last group of actual witnesses depart. Elie Wiesel said that to listen to a witness is to become one. What Jews were charged to do at Sinai, to be pillars of morality, a nation of priests, now takes on an added urgency. All Jews need to learn how to tell the witnesses' stories with love and conviction and with bursting pride at their incomprehensible acts of heroism and faith. Second, we need to recognize that the Holocaust has taken its place at the very core of what it means to be Jewish. In 2013, the Pew Survey of American Jewry asked, what does it mean to be Jewish? And they suggested 9 different questions. Only 19% chose observing Jewish law. By far, the leading answer was remembering the Holocaust, 73%. You can't get 3/4 of American Jews to agree on everything, not even what to put on a bagel. I didn't write this. This is the rabbi. If there is to be a core to our self-image of Jews, it is far more likely today to come from Auschwitz than from Sinai. We know as well that Israeli Jews and American Jews don't agree on much these days, but when Israeli Jews were asked the same questions, the result was nearly identical. The Holocaust, in short, is our greatest common denominator. $10 fine. Any expression of Judaism to emerge from the modern era must have the Holocaust at its core, or it will not be authentic. Just as the evil perpetrated by the Nazis has no historical parallel, so too does the valor of the Holocaust era dwarf anything we have ever seen, even in the Bible. When it comes to pure courage and unfathomable love, Joshua, Miriam, and David can't hold a candle to the stories of Janis Korczak, Mordechai Anilwitz, and Hannah Zenes. The Torah of Sinai, the backbone of Rabbinic Judaism, now has a companion narrative that I call the Torah of Auschwitz. Sacred teachings and practices that have begun to coalesce into a canon, enabling us to confront the darkest demons of 8 decades ago. At the same time, this narrative is filled with positive and life-affirming lessons for the entire world. As for Oskar Schindler and Raoul Wallenberg, and over 11,000 righteous Gentiles honored at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial, the modern-day righteous Gentile has no parallel in the Hebrew Bible. When the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, no one took them in. How can we not burst with pride at the poetry, the scraps of food that were shared, the secret seders, the impossible escapes, the artwork of the beautiful children of Terezin, how the victims were able to maintain their dignity and humanity in the most inhuman conditions, protecting their loved ones, even somehow falling in love. Anne Frank, so eternally appealing in her very ordinariness, has become a universal symbol of innocence and steadfast optimism in the face of pure evil, eclipsing ancient heroines like Ruth and Esther in our collective imagination. She has inspired multiple dramas, films, and novels, and drew 1.3 million visitors to her secret annex in Amsterdam in 2016 alone. The Torah, or teaching or instruction, of Auschwitz has already transformed religious practice and biblical interpretation. The injunction to remember the evil perpetrated by Amalek, recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, has metamorphosed into the post-Holocaust rallying cry, "Never again." It is said that every Jew, past, present, and future, stood at Sinai. Every Jew also stood metaphorically in those gas chambers as well. It didn't matter whether you were male or female, traditional, liberal, or secular, born Jewish, converted to Jewish, or married to a Jew, or even merely the grandchild of a Jew. The Holocaust has given us a common point of departure, a place where we were all present, even if we were not. Jewish unity, to the degree that it can be reestablished at all, is attainable only in the context of that unique shared experience and the affirmation that Auschwitz must never happen again. And may I add, to anyone of any faith, of any race, of any religion, there is no reason. When Jews invoke Auschwitz, the world listens because we were there. Many hate us for that, especially if they fetishize fascism. Others admire us. But everyone listens. Let us sing. This is the time of the service where we think of the hostages that are still captive in Gaza, those that are alive or dead, the ones that we hope for week after week with the two talit in the center of the sanctuary. Joan and the choir will lead us in Lu Yehi, Let It Be.
יש מפרש לבן באופק, מול ענן שחור כבד, כל שנבקש לו יהי. ואם בחלונות הערב, או נרות החג רואה, כל שנבקש לו יהי. לו יהי, לו יהי.
At this time in our service, our prayers go out to the homebound and the sick. And tonight we are thinking of Beverly Adler, Shirley Bergman, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Batsheva Sarah Gamaran, Arnie Goldklang, Richard Hoffing, Liz Jacobs, Marcia Katz, Verna Kelly, Carolyn Corlin, Wilma Levine, Marvin Lutzker, Marlis Markovitz, Barbara Milstein, Don Mostov, Paula Newberger, Leslie Rapkin, Fanny Reese, Laura Reuterfers, Betty Sarlin, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Maxine Schoenholtz, Simone Shaw, Joe Sheth, Charles Steinberg, Norman Topf, Don Zion, Stanley Zarofsky, and Leslie Swain. Amit Ben Shirley, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Avra Bat Hinda, Baruch Ben Leah, Beryl Bat Shia Verachel, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chana Bat Esther Malka, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Devorah Bat Ruth, Devorah Bat Sarah, Fegi Devasha Bat Baracha, Frumalea Bat Sarah, Heshli Ben Devorah, Lieb Shalom Ben Fagel, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Surah Bat Hana, Menachem Ben Frema, Mindela Bat Frema, Miriam Bat Thelma, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hirsch Ben Rachel, Pesachlev Ben Sarah, Sarah Mindel Bat Chana Leah, Baracha Bat Shirley, Shalom Ben Pesel, Shaul Yochanan Ben Sarah, Shana Bat Chai Esther, Shana Bracha Bat Yudit, Shana Leah Bat Devorah, Shirley Bat Sarah, Shulamit Bat Zillah, Simcha Ben Sarah, Sur Raisa Bat Esther, Velvo Ben Hindalea, Yispa Bat Fege Devasha, and Yonatan Ben Chasia. If there are any other names that you are thinking of, please say them out loud so that they may go up. Tricia, Sam, Ellen, Howie, John, and we bless their names. Joan and the choir will lead us in the angel's blessing.
Healing prayer tonight will be the Angel's Blessing by Debbie Friedman. And it reminds us that we are surrounded by angels. Ricky talked about the angels at the beginning. And we have the angels to the right of us. So we have Michael, then we have Gavriel to the left of us. We have Uriel before us, and we have Raphael behind us. But above us, we have the divine presence, or what we may say, the Shekhinah.
May our left hand give
Please rise if you're able for the Elenu and our concluding prayers. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula l'yotze bereshit lo asanu k'goyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Please be seated. We recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. For those that are observing a yard site tonight, please rise if you are able when your loved one's name is read and remain standing. Again, if you are able. During this period of Shiloshim, the 30 days of intensive mourning, we remember Linda Lovell, sister of Lee Zach. And we remember the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Jacob Bear, father of Stephen Bear, Frank Feinberg, father-in-law of Ed Cohn, Esther Ehrenfeld, mother-in-law of Sharon Ehrenfeld, Benjamin Sass, father-in-law of Cantor Glenn Groper, Rose Hoffing, mother of Richard Hoffing, Sidney A. Clemson, father of Elizabeth Jacobs, Rosalind Kelly, mother-in-law of Verna Kelly, Leah Hetfade Glasgow, mother of Sophie Kingson, Albert Markovitz, husband of Marlis Markovitz, Evelyn Cadkin, mother of Paula Newberger, Robert Haas, brother of Sharon Privatera, Rose Seitzman, mother-in-law of Rochelle Seitzman, Howard Silver, father of Ken Silver, Philip Sobel, father of Peter Sobel, David LaPointe, sister of Diane Berthold, Minnie Danneman, my grandmother, Louis Coolius, my good friend, Sophia Foreman, Eve Gilbert, Rose Mogilevsky, Arthur Blumenthal, David Hirschhorn, Sarah Regina Spieler, Geraldine Margulies, Dorothy Spieler, Adelaine Handelman, Rochelle Meshbesher, Leo Oxorn, Charnia Fisher, and Joseph Berman. Are there any yard sites not mentioned tonight? If not, please say their names aloud now. We bless their memories. And we remember those that perished in the Shoah, the Holocaust. Tonight we mentioned that by name this week six of those 6 million Jews of the former USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Branya Flukman, Rukhama Fradkin, Gershon Freistetter, Sima Friedland, Leonard Freilich, Ida Dorfman. In remembrance, in solidarity, and on behalf of those for whom there is no one but us to say Kaddish, please rise now if you are able, and let us join together as a kahila, a community in the Kaddish Yotom, the Orphans Kaddish, known as the Mourners Kaddish, page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Chirutei v'yalmich Malchutei, B'chaye Echon uv'yom Echon, uv'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala v'zman Kari v'imru. Amen. Hey Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Leolam Olamei Omaya. Yit Barak v'yishtabach v'yit Pa'ar v'yit Romam v'yit Naseh v'yit Hadar v'yit Alev v'yit Halal Shemei Dekudisha Barichu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Mark?
Thank you, Ricky, Joan Frankel Ford, and the choir for leading us tonight. Thank you also to Donna and our tech crew. Erev Shabbat service is next Friday night with Chaplain Delise Axon, where we will celebrate congressional birthdays and anniversaries. Chair Yoga continues Tuesday from 11 a.m. to noon with Jean Shandon teaching. Open to men and women, no experience is needed to experience an increase in well-being, flexibility, and relaxation. Wear comfortable clothing, avoid wearing any fragrances as a courtesy to others, and bring a towel and water. Did you know that there is not one, not two, but 4 sets of the 10 Commandments? Not the one from the movie The World 2000, The World as Part 2. That was 15. Anyway, join Ricky Bauman on Sunday, February 2nd at 2 p.m. for an in-depth look at some of our most important scripture. This program is open to the public last call. Sisterhood membership meeting Tuesday, February 4th at 1 p.m. featuring Victoria Reinhardt on how to have a safer home for seniors. Men's Club membership luncheon returns for 2025 on February 12th, 12 noon. Our president, Ricky Bauman, will present the real estate market locally and how it affects you. Pizza will be served. See Stephen Tabin for this. In February, the Strategic Planning Committee will embark on a Shema Kolenu, Hear Our Voice, to help determine Beth Israel's future needs. A questionnaire will be mailed to each congregant with a stamped, self-addressed envelope to return it to Beth Israel. Please make every effort to fill it out honestly and return it quickly. Advance notice for Sisterhood Thrifty Fashionista. Coming up on March 4th, Sisterhood members are invited to strut their style and show off their shopping prowess in fashion show competition to see who can create the best thrift shop outfit for $10 or less. More advance notice for Schmaltz, our 2025 Purim Spiel, authored by Dahlia Bear, Sunday, March 9th. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, no elbow, okay. Tonight, with God is my heart's desire, Joan and the choir leads us in Elech Hamda Libi.
One you know, I'm sure.
Hey,
cannot say that we did not worship with joy tonight. We worshiped with great joy. Thank you, Joan, and thank you, choir, for a wonderful service. Baruch atah b'voecha u'baruch atah b'tzeitecha. Blessed are you coming in, and blessed are you going out. Shabbat shalom. Please turn your cell phones back on, and we will join you in the social hall for the Oneg Shabbat.